Hello everyone! The next tool that we will be looking at is the soldering iron. So this soldering iron helps you make holes inside plastic. It also helps you fix jagged edges, or if you want thin parts. You don't want to use a heat gun because you need specific areas to be fixed. What you need to know about the soldering iron is from the tip all the way it gets very, very hot, so you don't want to touch it. It's going to get very, very hot and it's hurt and you won't be able to use it ever again. What you will need for the soldering iron are gloves, pliers, and you have something small to hold on to, and you'll also need the base. So when this is on, you'll see that this is lit up, and when this gets really hot, you just want to put this on here, so that way this doesn't touch the table. You want this to only touch the metal, so that way it doesn't burn anything that you don't want it to. The first thing I'm going to show you is what the soldering iron looks like when it's turned on. Now the soldering iron gets very hot very quickly, and you'll even be able to start to smell it. But when it's turned on, there's that light that turns on, and that's how you know it's on and that this is all hot. You can leave it for a few moments, kind of warm up. Make sure it's on the spoon, not on the table, because this will burn other stuff. So let's say in your project you want a hole, but using an X-Acto blade is just hard. The soldering iron melts plastic in that area. I'll show you that. This is also very, very fumy, melting the plastic. So I always want to make sure that the doors are open before you start. So I'm just going to make a hole. And it seems like my soldering iron isn't hot enough yet. I need to let it run a little bit longer. You're going to want to give the soldering iron about 2 to 4 minutes to get really, really hot, because that's what you're going to need to use it. Now you'll see I don't have a glove on my hand. That's because I'm going to make the hole far away. If you're trying to make a hole very, very close to your fingers, you're going to want to put the glove on. For me, since I'm doing it far away and my hand is over here, okay. Always want to protect your skin so that way it doesn't injure you. So iron is hot. I want to make a hole, mark it so that way you know where I'm trying to make the hole in. Let's say I want to make a hole right there. With my hand holding the plastic on the table, I'm going to take the soldering iron and it makes the hole. It's very quick, very, very easy. It does have fumes, so sometimes you might get a little bit of smoke, so you just want to be careful. For this next part, I have cut out some triangles in my plastic, and I don't want to use the gun because it might work, but I want them to not be so sharp. I want them to be a little bit softer, so I'm just going to use the soldering iron. Now, because my hand and where I'm going to solder are close, I could either use pliers, so that way we are now far away, or you use the glove. Sometimes the glove is so big and bulky that I just use the pliers. So if you can tell, it's starting to get a little smoke, and that's simply because it's getting like a residue of the plastic. So I'm just going to just very lightly start to soften some of the plastic. I'm not going too hard or pushing too hard because then it's going to warp it, and I don't want that. I just want to soften the edges. See how that one's already kind of turning in. I'm just going to go through and lightly touch them. Now, if you see some black residue on your plastic, it's simply because the soldering iron has old residue on it. You can always wash this off. You can paint over it. It's up to you. But so now these edges aren't as sharp. If you want them a little bit different, you want to cut in a little bit more, you can always use a soldering iron to go even deeper into the plastic. So instead of just staying here, it could go further in. To finish, what I do now is unplug the soldering iron. How I'll know that it's not on anymore is I'm going to make sure that the light is turned So I'm going to place it back on the holder. That way it's not touching the table. And then once I unplug it, you'll notice that the light has now turned off. You still want to put it here on the metal holder because it is still very, very hot and it could still burn someone. That way people know just to be careful and to walk out. And then you're ready.